Hey guys, I'm DaigoUKnow and welcome to the first Black Friday special on Daigotaku. Today, we're going to talk about BLACKJACK the movie, so let's prep for the review and get this show on the road. For those familiar with the title, you'll probably know the creator of the original manga, Osamu Tezuka. As in the Godfather of anime. Yep, it's that guy. The series began in November of 1973 while the movie was released in 96. So coincidentally, during the time of this video, this month marks their respective anniversaries. Awesome! I did a poll on Twitter a week before this and was surprised with the results. Out of the 30 people that answered, about 60% admitted to never even hearing about the property. Despite how questionable the results are, it's shocking that not many people were familiar with something created by someone as influential as Tezuka is. I was dead set on looking at this movie and see why that is, and it's honestly not that bad. The studio behind it, unsurprisingly, was Tezuka Productions, whose other works include Astro Boy and that one White Lion property Disney ripped off. The funniest thing about that part is you think I'm joking, but I'm not. The animation was handled by a number of studios, with Madhouse and Production IG having prominent involvement. As for who wrote and directed this, that honor goes mainly to the late Osamu Dezaki, who also worked on the OVA series back in '93, while Eiji Kawamura handled music composition. Okay, so the plot goes like this. BLACKJACK, or Kuro Hazama, is an unlicensed doctor who continues his practice for those who are willing to pay. In the movie, what everyone deems superhumans begin to make themselves known throughout the world, breaking Olympic records and excelling in a number of other fields, such as art and music. During this time, BLACKJACK performs surgery on a young girl, only for her to die 2 years later of rapid deterioration. This is when he comes in contact with someone by the name Joe Carroll Brain, who asks for his assistance in finding a cure for a similar condition affecting the superhumans, which has been deemed Moira Syndrome. Since this is a movie, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about the plot, so if I'm not completely clear in my criticisms, it's basically my crappy attempt to avoid spoilers. Apologies in advance. Since this is an animated film, you can expect me to talk about the animation, and it's pretty damn good. There's a lot of fluid animation, and it is aged rather well for the most part. Plus, I'm a sucker for anything with that 90s quality to it, even though I barely lived in the 90s myself. Sound direction was done well, and most of the music choices were top-notch. Invisible Love by Mai Yamane is definitely worth a listen, even if you aren't willing to check out the movie itself. BLACKJACK as a character is rather interesting. Despite being a doctor who operates without a license, he clearly cares about his patients and has a strong code of ethics regarding their treatment. Joe Carroll was also a decent foil to BLACKJACK, acting as a catalyst of sorts to the film's plot, and having a rather messed up background. You can tell this chick's dealt with serious shit. As for the superhumans themselves, to see them at their highest point only to witness them slowly wither away, I didn't know whether to look away or keep watching. To get such a reaction from someone like me, of all people, is pretty damn impressive on its own. The plot itself was actually not that bad, despite its shortcomings, which I'll get into in a bit. BLACKJACK's involvement felt natural from a character's perspective, and it ran a lot smoother than I expected it to. There are a few humorous moments in the film, and though they are few and far between, they were able to help balance out the darker elements without feeling cumbersome. Like I said before, the plot does have its issues, and that's only covering the surface. Some bits of the animation repeat weirdly, and one scene was noticeably sped up for some unknown reason. There are also uncanny moments with how characters are drawn and express themselves. They also use watercolored frames at times, to a rather annoying effect. In some moments it works, however near the end it became grating. Going back to characters, there aren't that many that get developed. BLACKJACK and Joe Carroll are focused on a lot during this, which was alright, but the other doctors are mainly there for plot-related reasons, and it was hinted that someone else could be the main villain. However, this doesn't go any further than what we get in the end, which isn't much, if I'm being completely honest. Pinocchio could be a bit annoying in the original version, however the dub makes up for that a bit. Plus, any little girl able to throw a guy this big to the ground is okay by me. There are some weird line reads in both the sub and the dub, making watching both a little awkward, however these kinds of moments don't happen often, so it doesn't become much of an issue compared to anything else. Like the plot. Yeah, some of the moments that play out during the beginning don't really make sense until near the end, and even then, it's still kinda weird. Also, some scenes involving exposition are either not needed, or don't make sense from a narrative standpoint, such as when someone should be dead when they're still talking. Yeah, that happens. Even when putting these issues into consideration, I like this movie. Admittedly, like me, it's not that known in the community, only having a little over 7,000 MAL users acknowledging it, so there's a chance those watching this video may not have even heard of it. That is, if there's anyone actually watching. If there's one thing you all can do for me and the people that made this film, it's to go watch it for yourselves and come to your own conclusions. Don't let this fall into obscurity. You can ignore me all you want, but don't do that to this film, or anything like it. It may not be perfect, but it's part of a history that this community is sorely lacking knowledge in, and is definitely something worth experiencing for yourselves. With that being said, I personally give BLACKJACK the movie a 7 out of 10. Go watch it and see what you think. Right now, it's on Crunchyroll, both subbed and dubbed, of course, and I remember seeing something about there being a Blu-ray for it, so there's that. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and consider subscribing for more content. I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving Day weekend and are safe shopping for your families and friends during this holiday season. I'll catch you on the next Daigotaku. See you later.